yeah, it's quite an adventure. It's kind of a uninspired religious story. I didn't talk to any cosmic beings, so don't believe me. Okay. This is the intro. To prove I don't exist as an objective part of space-time, or I am no more of an I than any other observable phenomenon. To be matter is to be energy. The only difference is merely observable. I think I exist because all else is viewable. Well, what doesn't absorb a few photons after work every now and then? And where exactly do I stop? Is my sentience a tube of light through time? Or do I only exist as you see me? Are you and I the greatest top of earthly science? You and I are definitely proof of you and I, but are we God? Okay. Humanity said to the other, "You look good." God looked taken aback and said, "I always knew you were way too full of yourself." God sighed, "I am that of the Higgs field. I am virtual. I am the collapse. I am the driving force of expansion, all else that is, on any level. I am one in many. But more so than any other feature, I poured myself into you, man. Perhaps I have gone overboard. Why do you think Earth is the center of it all? Because you are, and I am." "Why," said the humans, "the trees look like fractals." God smiled, and teeth began to grow from the woodwork carvings on his doorframe. Humanity gasped in awe as the tongue flicked out from God's suddenly miles-long chest and knocked him into images of creation. Trees are fractals, just like all other things, but as large and simple life forms, their infinity had to be very efficient. "The farther you get from thought, the more efficient you are," said God. Humanity stared at the universe. God's tongue continued to groom man's mind. "Of all the life forms, which is the simplest?" "The microcosmic." "Describe them," God ordered. Humanity bumbled and bipped for a few millennium before finally arriving at, "The universe is a flow of energy through matter. Lower life forms just have an easier time with self-replication because their constituents in themselves are virtually the same. As you grow more and more complicated, you become more and more aware of your environment." "You're rambling!" God cosmically commanded. "The entirety of existence can be described in one short word. God," said God. "And you called me narcissistic," said all of humanity. And then, for a few short pages, there was nothing. All plants, all dice, all ideas, all love, all of humanity, all of the universe was cut off from humanity. For a few short minutes, every single person in every single space of time was completely cut off from the rest of reality. Every person's measured infinity of awareness stopped and said to them in a wordless medium that they were experiencing objectivity. For the first time, humanity considered what it was to be something else, unalive and never to die, with no vision and thought, no past, present, or future, and no self and no other. Nothing. The opposite of humanity. God showed us what we weren't, and then there was light. Humanity and God came together as one, and for the first time in billions of years, matter was let back into the garden. Humanity and God spent hours upon hours frolicking in the Planck fields, running back to the Jurassic, only to suddenly appear in a painting, hanging in a space museum, playing joust on Triceratops. Oxycontin candies the size of multiverses cascaded down humanity's decades-long 16-lane neural pathways. God and humanity spray-painted the laws of the universe negative and universe positive relational physics with the jism of life forms made up of more basic constituents. God lathered the many bodies of the Unkatawa clan into the northeast sect to form a moon constellation. In the Crab Nebula, the constellation would eventually grow to become a triple Emmy nominee and the Pulitzer Prize winner in children's literature. As God and man drank their way through the various forces and powers that they began to feel forlorn and empty in their newfound friendship. God said, "Well, man, it's about time we quit this trash heap of an existence and get back into the real story." Humankind said, "I need me a woman."